This story is brought to you by tapeatale.com.
I'm not a religious person at all. In fact, if I had to, I would identify myself as a free-thinking liberal person, and I'm hence basically a pain in the ass of my parents. But recently, I was in Himachal Pradesh with two friends. One of them had been to Himachal many times, and he suggested that we visit the Gurudwara at Manikaran, which is located on the banks of naturally occurring hot water springs in the Parvati river, have a bath, and eat the langar there for breakfast. Now, we reached Manikaran on our first day in Himachal, and I, being used to Mumbai weather, was still adjusting to the cold. But as soon as we stepped out of the car, and I looked at the breathtaking, blue, frothy Parvati river with the magnificent Gurudwara on the other side, I felt this sudden rush of happiness. I dispersed this emotion as a reaction to the unusualness of being out of the city and perhaps to the legend that surrounds Manikaran. Let me tell you about it. It is said that once, when goddess Parvati and Lord Shiva were in Manikaran, a money or jewel from Parvati's earring fell into the river. And when no one was able to find it, Lord Shiva, enraged, performed Tandav, and many jewels along with hot water started springing out of the river. In fact, it is said that jewels sprung out of there till the Kangra earthquake in 1905. This is a fascinating story, and I love stories. But as soon as I entered the Gurudwara, this rush of happiness turned into a calm that I hadn't felt in years, a calm that went beyond interesting stories or breathtaking views. Perhaps that calm was a way to tell me that something beyond our physical world does exist. Perhaps that calm was a premonition for one of the most magnificent moments of my life. After we had looked around for a bit, we started to get really hungry and decided to quickly have a bath before langar. There were two separate bath areas, one for women and one for men. And as I saw the doorway, which was for ladies, I expected to enter into a cubicled bathroom with hot showers. But instead, as soon as I entered, I saw 6 naked women sitting around a tiny pool filled with hot water from the river. All of them casually, nonchalantly, just sitting there and having a bath. Now, I am a girl who has only lived in cities, full of bathrooms with doors, rooms with doors, bodies with doors of different colors and materials, red, cotton, silk, turquoise, just doors, doors and more doors. So I had to, in that moment, make a decision. I took a deep breath, and in a quick motion, before I had time to overthink or change my mind, I took off all my clothes, and weirdly, I didn't feel awkward or embarrassed at all. In fact, when I poured the first mug of that calming hot water on my body, I felt this intense sense of liberation. I looked around, exchanged smiles with the women, even borrowed some soap, all of it casually, as if no one had noticed that we weren't wearing any clothes. As if this is how we were supposed to naturally be. This is how we were supposed to naturally be. This was the first time, as an adult, that I was fully naked in front of someone with absolutely no sexual energy in the air. The women were all of different shapes, sizes, and colors, but I didn't even think about shape, sizes, or colors when I was in there. It was as if I was in a different world and my conditioning had left itself at the door. It made me think about what we have turned our bodies into, why they've become ways to make statements or sellable objects. Why does showing our body have to relate to sexual appeal or vulgarity? We are the only animals who have to cover ourselves to even legally just be. Especially in India, and as women, centuries of conditioning have turned our bodies into a means, sacred but shackled. And how much ever I hate to admit it, honesty would have me say that a part of my self-worth still relies on how much a man values me, which highly depends on how thin, curvy, beautiful, sexy I am, how my body looks like. But sitting there that day, having a bath with 6 naked strangers. I felt the most free, the most beautiful, the most liberated I have ever felt. My body was just a body, beautiful by the virtue of the fact that it exists. Beautiful, almost like jewels were springing out of it.